Once upon a time, there lived an old couple in an old small shack next to a forest. They were living a happy and peaceful life. Their only regret was not having a child of their own. One day, when the old lady was making cookie dough in the kitchen, her husband came in.
Darling, what are you cooking today?
Oh, my darling, I'm baking a gingerbread man today.
The old lady kneaded the dough and cut a gingerbread man shape. After putting it in the oven, she sat down and started to wait for the gingerbread man to bake. When she could smell the delicious cookie all around the air in the kitchen, she put on her oven gloves and took the gingerbread man out. Now it was time to decorate it. She made eyes out of raisins and a cute nose using candy. And then she used some cream to make his hair and clothes. And lastly, she used cherries to make some buttons for him. She had a look at her masterpiece and said,
My gingerbread man looks beautiful, but I feel like something is missing.
The old lady looked at him again and,
Oh, his mouth! I forgot to make his mouth.
She drew a mouth on the gingerbread man's face with the cream.
Oh, yes, now you are complete, my gingerbread man.
At that moment, something unexpected happened.
Thank you! But how can it be you are talking?
Gingerbread Man suddenly stood up and started running.
Yeah, and I can also run!
The gingerbread man jumped from the kitchen bench to the chair, then to the ground and started running fast to the kitchen door to the garden.
Come back! Come back!
The old lady yelled. The gingerbread man began talking whilst he was running.
Yeah! Run! As fast as you can, but nobody can catch me because I'm the gingerbread man.
The old lady got out to the garden and started running after the gingerbread man. The man looked out the window and saw his wife running and yelled,
Hey, where are you running?
The old lady answered to her husband whilst running.
My gingerbread man ran away. I'm trying to catch him.
The old man was speechless. The old lady ran, but the gingerbread man was so fast that it was impossible to catch him. After a short while, the gingerbread man came across a ranch. A grazing cow noticed him.
Oh, what a nice cookie! I should catch and eat him.
The cow also began to run after the gingerbread man.
Wait! Don't run! I'm gonna eat ya!
Yeah! Run as fast as you can, and old lady's also trying to catch me, but nobody can because I'm the gingerbread man.
The old lady and the cow were running after the gingerbread man. And at this time, a pig noticed the gingerbread man.
A gingerbread man, true to my taste buds. Wait, and I will catch you.
The gingerbread man answered the pig whilst he was running.
Yeah! Run as fast as you can, and old lady and a cow are also trying to catch me. But nobody can because I'm the gingerbread man.
While they were running, the gingerbread man in front, the old lady, cow and the pig behind him, a chicken noticed the gingerbread man while looking for some food.
That has to be my lunch.
So the chicken tagged along.
Run as much as you want, gingerbread man. I'm gonna catch you.
Yeah, run as fast as you can. An old lady, a cow, and a pig could not catch me. Neither can you. Nobody can, because I'm the gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man in front, the old lady, cow, the pig, and the chicken, they all continued to run. But the gingerbread man was getting more and more further ahead from the others. The gingerbread man was so happy and very proud of himself.
I'm the brightest and the fastest gingerbread man in the world. Yes, that's me. Nobody can catch me because I'm the gingerbread man.
When he looked ahead, Soon the gingerbread man saw that he was coming across a river, and he stopped because he knew that water could make him melt away.
What now?
The old lady, cow, pig, and the chicken were close now. Right at that moment, a shifty fox appeared from behind a tree.
I know how to swim. If you want, I can help you.
The gingerbread man thought about it.
What if you eat me?
You don't have to worry. I don't want to eat you. I just want to help you get across.
The gingerbread man trusted the shifty fox and jumped on his tail, holding on as tight as he could. The fox jumped in the river and began to swim. Meanwhile, the old lady, cow, pig, and the chicken came to the edge of the river and saw the gingerbread man crossing the river on the back of a fox. Helplessly they watched them go, knowing they could not catch him anymore. The river began to get deeper and the water started to rise.
Hey, Fox, keep your tail up. I almost got wet.
Up on my back, it's safer.
The gingerbread man hopped on the fox's back. They swam for a while, but as the water got deeper, the fox's back began to sink in the water.
I'm afraid that you'll get wet. Why don't you jump on my head, where it's a bit higher?
The gingerbread man climbed up on his head. The fox continued to pursue his plan and dipped his head down in the water.
The water has risen too much. Why don't you get on my nose? It's higher.
So the gingerbread man got on top of his nose. Right when they were about to reach the shore, the fox tipped his nose, flipping the gingerbread man into the air, and opened his mouth. The gingerbread man was going to fall into his mouth, and the fox was going to eat him. But it didn't work. While the gingerbread man was in the air, a crow flying right above them caught the gingerbread man with his beak. The fox just stood there looking with his mouth open. The gingerbread man waited for the crow to fly a little further and asked,
Do crows eat ginger cookies?
Yep.
When the crow opened his beak to speak, the gingerbread man fell down and began to run as fast as he could.
Yeah! Run as fast as you can. An old lady, a cow, a pig, a chicken, a fox, and a crow also tried to catch me. But nobody can because I'm the gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man kept on running and did not stop. If you see a gingerbread man pass you by running, do not try to catch him, because he is the gingerbread man and nobody can dare catch him.
The Gingerbread Man in the City. Once upon a time, there was a gingerbread man trying to run away from his village.
Run as fast as you can. Nobody can catch me because I'm the gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man ran so fast that the old woman, the big cow, the chubby pig, the confused chicken, the hungry fox, and the naive crow just couldn't catch him.
Oh, I'm so tired. We can't catch that gingerbread man.
Let's go back to our farm.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man, who ran for a long time, finally arrived in a city. However, the city was so crowded that he was very confused while running between people's feet.
Running in the city is harder, much harder, than running in the village.
Gingerbread Man ran into a marketplace in the city. While passing a fish deli, he accidentally knocked all the fish down.
Ah! Ow! Run!
The fisherman, whose fish was knocked down, went after him to catch the gingerbread man.
I will catch you, gingerbread man.
Run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Come and get me.
They jumped over a cat lying on the ground while the gingerbread man was running in front and the fisherman behind him. When the city cat inhaled the aroma of farm-fresh baked gingerbread, he also chased after him with excitement.
I will catch you. Meow. Run! Run as fast as you can, kitty. A fisherman is already trying to catch me. Nobody can catch me. You can't catch me either because I'm the gingerbread man.
While a fisherman and a cat were chasing the gingerbread man, a dog suddenly noticed them as they were passing by.
Woof, woof. Gingerbread, one of the most delicious looking ones, too. Woof, woof. Don't run away. I will catch you.
The gingerbread man immediately noticed the dog chasing after him.
Run as fast as you can, puppy. You can't catch me. A fisherman and a grumpy cat are already trying to catch me. But nobody can catch me. You can't catch me either. Because I'm the gingerbread man.
While the gingerbread man, behind him a fisherman, a grumpy cat, and a huge dog were running around the streets of the city, a city rat, who was milling a cheese in the alley, just saw them.
I smell the scent of yummy gingerbread. Who cares about cheese?
So the city rat joined the chase.
Run as long as you want, gingerbread man. You can never escape from me.
Run, city rat, as fast as you can. A fisherman, a grumpy cat, and a big dog couldn't catch me. You can't catch me either. Because I'm the gingerbread man.
The gingerbread man was running so fast that he had gotten pretty far from the fisherman, the grumpy cat, the big dog, and the city rat.
I am the smartest and fastest cookie man in the world. Yes, everyone, hear me. Nobody can catch me because I'm the gingerbread man.
Gingerbread man fell into the sewer because he did not notice the sewer lid in front of him while running. After a while, the fisherman, the grumpy cat, and the big dog, who caught up with the gingerbread man, looked through the sewer. And then their gaze turned to the city rat.
Don't look at me like that. I'm a city rat. I will never go underground.
When they realized that they couldn't take Gingerbread Man out, everyone decided to go back to their houses. But even this sewage pit couldn't stop the Gingerbread Man. With unusually great skill for a pastry, he climbed up and saved himself. The fisherman, the cat, the dog, and the city rat, who saw that the Gingerbread Man survived, were after him again.
No sewer pit in the city can stop me because I'm the gingerbread man.
Gingerbread Man was suddenly trapped in traffic of the city. Moreover, the fisherman, the cat, the dog, and the rat were coming towards him and fast. Cars and bicycles were passing by Gingerbread Man from right to left. In front of him, behind him, everywhere. He was nearly ran over by a car. He was so scared.
Oh no! What am I gonna do? If a car crushes me, I'll disappear. What can I do now?
Meanwhile, a crafty seagull standing on the traffic light noticed the Gingerbread Man.
Oh, The gingerbread? Moreover, in the middle of the road. Wait for me, Gingerbread Man.
The seagull flew to the gingerbread man.
I think you need me. If you want, I can fly you out to the middle of this road.
But wouldn't you eat me?
Don't worry, I'm full today. I don't want to eat you.
Gingerbread Man trusted the seagull and jumped on him. The fisherman, the cat, the dog, and the city rat saw the gingerbread man fly away on the wings of the gull. It was impossible for them to catch him now. They stared helplessly after him. The seagull, on the other hand, flew up well above the traffic and high beyond the reach of every other creature that had taken chase to capture the clever cookie. The gingerbread man was barely holding on because of the strong wind.
Seagull, friend, fly a little slow. Otherwise, I'll fall down because of the wind.
If you fall, fall. I will grab you with my mouth and put you down in my stomach.
At that time, Gingerbread Man couldn't hold on to the wings because of the wind and fell down.
Ah!
When the seagull was just about to catch and devour him, a huge cloud came in front of him.
Where did the gingerbread man go? Move away, clouds, move away!
The gingerbread man was so lucky that he fell on a soft cloud. Then he jumped from cloud to cloud like a ladder and landed again. Not once did he pause to stop and look above him. As soon as he landed, he briskly hopped from cloud to cloud and he started running immediately.
Run as fast as you can. A fisherman, a cat, a dog, a city rat, and a seagull couldn't catch me. Nobody can catch me because I'm the Gingerbread Man. Good thing I'm one tough cookie, or I could have broke something.
The gingerbread man just kept running. If one day you see a gingerbread man running between your feet, don't even bother going after him, because he's the gingerbread man and no one else can catch him.
Whew, this is a long run. Still running, still running.
Once upon a time, there lived a brother and sister named Hansel and Gretel. Their mother had passed away when they were babies. They lived with their dad in a hut in the forest. Their dad was trying to earn their living by working as a woodcutter and was looking after the kids at the same time. A couple of years passed, and struggling to juggle work and 2 kids at the same time, their dad decided to get married again. The woodcutter's wife was from a wealthy family, and she hated the fact that they were poor and she had to live in a small ruined hut deep into the forest. Plus, she did not like her stepchildren at all. On a cold winter night, as they were getting ready for bed, Hansel and Gretel heard their stepmother talking to their dad. "How are you going to get through this winter? We don't have enough food. If you do not get rid of these kids, we will all starve to death." Their dad opposed furiously. "No need to argue. I made up my mind. Tomorrow we'll take them to the woods and leave them there." Hearing all that, Gretel started to cry. Her brother Hansel comforted her.
Please don't worry, Gretel. Somehow we'll find our way back home.
Later that night, Hansel snuck out and collected as many pebbles as he could in his pockets. In the morning, they all started to walk towards the forest. Their father told them that they were going for a family hike. As they were walking, without anyone noticing, Hansel dropped the pebbles to mark the way back. In the afternoon, their dad and stepmother lit a fire and told them that they will be back soon. They walked off and vanished in the woods. Of course, they did not come back. When the night fell, the horrible sounds of all the wild animals in the forest started to echo around them. Shivering with the horrifying sounds of the wolves, Hansel and Gretel did not leave the fireside until the moonrise. Then they started to follow the pebbles shining in the moonlight and walk towards home.
Well done, Hansel. This was very clever of you.
When the kids came back home, their dad was very happy and surprised at the same time. Their stepmother also acted as if she was happy, but deep inside, her decision was still the same. She was very upset that they were back. After 3 days, the stepmother tried to get rid of them again. This time at night, she locked Hansel and Gretel's door and did not allow Hansel to collect pebbles again. But Hansel was a clever boy. When they were walking to the forest in the morning, this time he dropped the breadcrumbs that he had put in his pocket the night before and again made a trail the way back home. Around noon, their father and stepmother made up an excuse and went off, leaving them all alone in the forest again. Realizing that they were not coming back, Hansel and Gretel wanted to start walking back home before it got dark. But this time, they could not find the trail they left because all the breadcrumbs were eaten by the birds. Gretel started crying. For the first time, Hansel also felt hopeless. This time the kids were really lost. With no food and scared to death, they wandered around the forest for 3 days. On the 3rd day, they saw a bird, white as snow. The bird chirped songs with its beautiful voice for them. They forgot their hunger for a moment and started to follow the bird. The bird brought them in front of a funny-looking house. This house had walls of bread, a roof made out of cake, and windows of candy, and was covered with colourful cream all around. Hansel and Gretel could not believe their eyes. The house looked incredibly delicious. The kids forgot all about how tired they were and started to run to the house. Just as they were both going to have a bite from the house, they heard a voice from inside.
Oh! Now who is nibbling on my house?
They looked around and they saw a cute and sweet old lady at the door. When they told her all about what had happened to them, she felt very bad for them, and so she let them in. The inside of the house was very different from the outside. It was dark, scary, and it didn't feel right. But because they were so tired and hungry, the kids did not care much. The old lady brought all kinds of food and desserts for them, and the kids ate food that they hadn't had before. That night, they slept on the softest bed they had ever seen. When they woke up in the morning, the old lady wasn't there. They started to look around. At the end of the corridor, they saw a small door. When they opened the door, they found cases full of gold and treasure inside. They were very surprised, of course. Hansel wanted to get in and take a closer look. Right at that moment, they heard her voice again.
And what do you think you are doing?
When they turned around, the kids faced the witch standing right there in front of them. Apparently, the old lady was a witch leading the kids to a dungeon with a house covered with cake and candy. The kids tried to run away, but the door was locked. The witch pulled Hansel by the hair and locked locked him in a cage. Then she dragged Gretel to the kitchen.
Your brother is too skinny. Cook some food for him and make him fat. When he's in good shape, he'll be a delicious meal for me. But don't you dare eat anything. All the food is only for him.
Having no choice, Gretel did what she asked for. Fortunately, Hansel was a clever and wise boy. He decided to trick the evil-hearted witch. Every night when the witch was asleep, he was digging a hole in the ground of the cage. The witch was controlling Hansel every morning to see if he gained weight or not. But Hansel wasn't eating anything his sister cooked. Instead, he was burying them in the hole that he digged. In the meantime, the witch was telling Gretel to cook more. This went on for days until finally the witch had enough.
Fat skinny? I don't care anymore. Today I will make Hansel pie.
She turned to Gretel.
Look in the oven to see if the dough is baked enough.
Although she was in fear, Gretel was also a wise girl just like her brother. She understood that the witch was going to push her in the oven.
I can't get my head in there and see the dough,
whined Gretel. The witch pushed her aside and stuck her head inside. Gretel gathered all her strength and pushed the old witch into the oven and closed the oven door. Gretel knew where the witch was hiding the keys. She ran straight away and saved Hansel from the cage. The flames from the oven covered the whole house. Hansel and Gretel ran away from the burning house into the woods, but they did not know where to go. A while later, they came across a river. A giant swan took them one by one to the other side of the river. The kids looked around and suddenly they realized where they were. They ran home as fast as they could. Seeing his kids, Father was full of joy. With tears of joy, he explained to them how their stepmother had gone back to her parents' house soon after they had left them in the forest. And how sorry he was for all that he did, and no matter how hard he had searched for them, they were nowhere to be found. The kids loved their father very much, so they forgave him. But another surprise was waiting for their father. They both reached their pockets and brought out gold and diamonds they had found in the witch's home. Their father could not believe his eyes. All the problems that their family had ever had went away, and they lived happily ever after. On a sunny day, Alice and her sister went out for a walk on the fields. Alice's sister was reading a book. Because of this, Alice got very bored. Right when she was thinking what she could do for fun, a white bunny passed by. The bunny was talking to himself. Alice was stunned because she had never seen a talking bunny before. The bunny took out a pocket watch and then...
Oh no, I'm going to be so late,
he said in a hurry. Alice was very impressed with what she saw. So curious to see what was going on, she went after the bunny. The bunny went through a hole in a tree trunk, and Alice followed him through the same hole. Suddenly, she found herself falling down in a well. The well was very deep, and Alice kept on falling down slowly. While going down, the little girl saw pictures, little wardrobes and shelves. Alice felt like she was going around the world. A Finally, she fell on a soft surface. She had a long corridor in front of her. Alice got up and started to walk. She saw many locked doors along the corridor, and the bunny disappeared. Alice feared that she would not be able to get out of there. Right at that moment, she saw a little golden key on a 3-legged small table next to her. She took the key and tried to open all the locked doors, but the key was too small for the doors. Looking around sadly, Alice realized that there was another small door behind the curtain. When she put the key in the lock, the door opened immediately. Alice was very happy when the door opened. Behind the door, there was a very beautiful garden. But because she could not fit through the door, Alice could not go out. When she returned to the table inside, she noticed a bottle with a label saying, "Drink me" on it. Alice took the bottle and started drinking. As she drank the potion, she began to shrink. When she got small enough, she thought she could fit through the door. But when she got back to the key, she realized that she had gotten too small to reach the table. She started to cry. At that moment, she saw a cake on the floor. The cake had a label saying, "Eat me." With curiosity, Alice took a bite from the cake. At that moment, she started to grow again. Now she could get the key, but was too big to go through the door. Alice was too tired. With no hope, she started to cry again. The tears running from her eyes started to form a big puddle that reached the end of the corridor. Suddenly, the white bunny passed her in a hurry. Alice called out, Sir, please, hold on a minute, help me!" The bunny got away fast, without even looking at Alice. But while running, he dropped his gloves and hand fan. Alice took his stuff from the floor, and when she started to fan herself, she started to shrink again. Right at that moment, she slipped and fell into the puddle. Alice and lots of different animals swimming in the water started to drift towards the shore. When they reached the shore, they were all wet, and Alice saw the bunny again. This time the bunny thought she was his maid and asked her to bring his gloves and hand fan from his house. Alice went to the bunny's house in the forest. When she entered, she immediately found his gloves and hand fan, but right there she saw another bottle on the table. She reached to the bottle and thought, "If I drink this, maybe I can go back to my normal size." She took the bottle and drank the whole potion. Instead, she became so huge she could not even move in the house. What am I going to do now? How will I get out of here? In the meantime, the bunny was waiting for Alice impatiently. Fearing from Alice, the animals started to throw rocks into the house, breaking windows. The stones landing next to Alice started to turn into small cakes. When Alice started to eat these cakes, she started to shrink again and managed to go out of the house. But this time, unfortunately, she got too small. Poor Alice got so tiny she was lost between the little bushes in the woods. She started to think about what she can do to get back to her normal size. At that moment, she saw a puppy a little further away. When she called the puppy over to pat, she realized how much smaller she was next to the dog. She almost got squashed by the puppy's paws. When she was running, she stumbled over a mushroom. There was a blue caterpillar on the mushroom. She asked the caterpillar what she can do to get back to her normal size. The caterpillar answered with a wise manner.
One side of the mushroom I am standing on will make you grow. On the other side will make you shrink.
Alice took a small piece from the mushroom and put it in her mouth. Right at that moment, she had gotten so big that she could not even see her feet. To shrink back to her normal size, this time she took a piece from the other side. By eating different amounts from both sides of the mushroom, she managed to come back to her normal size. She took 2 pieces from each side and held them in her hand. While she was walking, she came across a tiny house. But to be able to get in, she had to shrink again. Eating the mushroom pieces, she started to shrink again. When she entered the house, Alice found herself in a kitchen. Right in the middle of the kitchen, there was a duchess standing with a baby in her arms. And on the floor, a fat cat was looking at Alice, smiling. It was the first time Alice saw a smiling cat. So she asked, curiously,
Why does your cat smile like that?
"Because this is a Cheshire cat," said the Duchess. At the same time, the cat became invisible and the baby in the Duchess' arms started to cry. The Duchess passed the baby over to Alice. "You rock the baby and stop her crying. I will go and play croquet with the Queen." Alice took the baby and started to rock. Suddenly, the Cheshire Cat appeared. Again, and smiling again, he talked to Alice.
You need to find the Mad Hatter and the March Hare. But be careful, they're both crazy.
Right after their little chat, the Cheshire Cat disappeared again. Alice angrily yelled at the cat.
Stop disappearing and reappearing again! You're freaking me out!
Cheshire Cat appeared once again, smiling.
Okay, then I will disappear slowly.
Starting from his tail, Cheshire Cat started to disappear again. Only his face remained. Alice went out of the house, and in a short while she found the March Hare's house. March Hare was having tea with the Mad Hatter under a tree. March Hare put some hay between his ears. Alice could not understand why he put hay between his ears. And the Mad Hatter had a hat on his head. The mouse between them had rested his head on the table sleeping. And they both had their arms on the mouse, using him as a pillow. When they saw Alice coming, they opposed, saying that there was no space available.
No, there's plenty of room,
said Alice. Mad Hatter asked Alice.
Why do you think the crow looks like a desk?
Why do you think?
I don't know.
Alice got really bored of these stupid and rude jokes of the Mad Hatter and March Hare. She said, "This was the stupidest meeting I have been to," and went away. Alice noticed a door in the trunk of a tree. When she entered, she found a golden key. The golden key opened the door to a beautiful garden. Entering the garden, Alice was very surprised. The gardeners of the Queen of the Hearts were painting all the white roses to red. And all the men looked like playing cards. So Alice asked,
I'm curious, why are you painting all the white roses red?
So the gardener answered,
The Queen wanted red roses, but we accidentally grew white roses. If the Queen finds out, she will chop our heads off.
Right at that moment, the Queen of Hearts came to the garden. The soldiers next to her were all in the shape of playing cards. Queen of Hearts invited this strange girl she saw for the first time to play croquet. Alice never saw a croquet field like this one before. Hedgehogs were balls and flamingos were the croquet mallets. In the middle of the game, the players started to fight and throw hedgehogs at each other. The Queen was very upset with this situation. She suddenly stomped her foot on the floor and yelled with anger,
"Chop off the heads of all the players who fight!"
The Queen of Hearts was so angry, she cancelled the croquet party. And suddenly, there was a loud voice.
The trial has begun!
Everybody started to run towards the court. A trial was going to be held for Jack of Hearts, who supposedly had stolen a pie from the Queen's kitchen. The Queen could not catch the Jack of Hearts during this incident, therefore she could not punish him. The Jack of Hearts was held in prison during his trial. The White Rabbit started to read from the roll of paper he was holding.
On a beautiful summer day, our Queen of Hearts had baked delicious pies, and Jack of Hearts had stolen them.
The King yelled from his seat.
Call the first witness.
The first witness was the Mad Hatter. When the Mad Hatter started to talk on the witness stand in front of the King, Alice suddenly started to grow. The White Rabbit announced that it was time for Alice to take the witness stand. Hearing her name being called, Alice immediately stood up. Forgetting how big she grew, when her dress tangled on the jury stand, she turned the stand upside down, making all the members of the jury fall on the floor. The Queen asked Alice to tell everything she knows. I don't know anything, Alice answered. The Queen yelled, furiously.
"You don't? Chop her head off too!"
And Alice answered bravely,
I don't care about your orders. You are not my queen, and so you can't do anything to me.
As soon as Alice said these words, the King, Queen, and all the playing cards started to fly towards Alice. Screaming away, Alice tried to catch them. All the commotion became a big whirlpool of cards around Alice, sucking her inside and flying her up. And finally, with the leaves flying all around her, she found herself on the field again. Her sister called out,
Alice, come on now, wake up.
When Alice woke up, she realised that everything was a dream.
Oh, wow! It was all a dream, and what an amazing dream it was! Hey, sis, let me tell you about my dream. You know, a white rabbit...
Once upon a time, there lived a married couple. Although they really wanted to have a baby, well, for them, it just wasn't possible. One day his wife went to the old witch and told her she wanted a baby.
Don't be sad, my dear girl. Where there's a will, there's a way. Take this seed and plant it in a pot and wait and see. You'll be surprised.
His wife was very happy. She thanked her with joy. In return for her amazing favour, she gave the witch some money. Later on, she went straight home and planted the seed in a pot. With great patience, she began to wait near the pot. Soon later, a big tulip-like flower began to blossom. Right that moment, she thought to herself, what a beautiful flower. With its leaves still unfolded, she reached over and kissed it. Short after, the leaves began to unfold. In the flower was a child sitting down. With great confusion, the lady picked up the tiny girl in her hand. What a tiny little child you are! Your name should be Thumbelina. The lady made Thumbelina's crib out of a walnut shell, her mattress from violet leaves, and her blanket from rose petals. Thumbelina managed to adapt to her new life with ease. At night time, she would sleep in her bed that was made just for her, and during the day she would play on the table and sing songs. One night, while she was sleeping in her bed, an ugly frog appeared from the window. It saw the little girl sleeping in a walnut shell.
Rabbit, oh my, what a tiny and beautiful girl you are. You'd make a great friend to my son.
As fast as it could, the frog grabbed the walnut shell and went out the window. Right near the house was a swamp. The house in which the ugly frog and his son lived in was right here. The son of the ugly frog was just as ugly as his father. When he saw the tiny girl his father had brought him, he croaked at the top of his lungs.
Rabbit, rabbit. Stop croaking. You're going to wake the girl up. If she wakes up, she will run away in fear. Rabbit.
The father and son decided to make the little girl a place where she could stay. Father Frog had a great idea.
Let's place the little girl on one of the lilies over at the stream. Being surrounded with all that water, it will be impossible for her to get away.
Father Frog took Thumbelina with her crib and placed it on one of the lilies. In the morning, with the sparkling light of the sun, Thumbelina woke up. When she noticed she wasn't at home and saw that she was surrounded in water, in fear she began to cry.
Where am I?
Father and son frog went over to get Thumbelina.
Here's your new friend. I'm preparing a great new home for you. It will be in the very deep waters of the swamp.
Father and son took Thumbelina's crib, made from a walnut shell, and swam off, leaving her right there on the leaf. At that very moment, some red fish were swimming along, and they overheard what the ugly frog was saying. They couldn't stand the idea of an ugly swamp frog upsetting such a beautiful girl such as Thumbelina.
Don't you worry, little girl. We are going to save you.
All together, they chewed on the stem of the lily where she was sitting on, and they broke it. All alone now, the leaf got caught in a rip current and managed to get away. Making way on the current in her green leaf left all the birds with great admiration.
How beautiful and tiny she is!
As she was on her way, she passed a rather big Maybug. He grabbed her as fast as he could and landed on a tree. Finding herself on a tree, Thumbelina was very frightened.
What type of a bug are you, and why did you bring me here?
I'm a Maybug, and I have never seen a bug such as yourself before, so I wanted my friends to see you.
Later on, all the other Maybugs sitting on the same tree came around to visit Thumbelina. Trying hard not to show it, all the Maybugs were jealous of her amazing beauty.
You're a funny creature.
How rickety, doesn't even have wings.
How ugly! You can barely look at her face.
You are free to go wherever you want. We don't want such an ugly thing being near us.
Thumbelina spent the whole summer all by herself. She overcame her hunger and thirst by drinking the water of the flowers. A long time passed and the weather began to cool. Because of her summer clothes, she got cold. A field appeared from afar. The field was covered in straw. After a long walk, Thumbelina made it to the field. Under the straw, she managed to find a field rat's home. With a chance on finding some food, Thumbelina knocked on his door and asked for some barley. Kind-hearted field rat took her in. She got in that instant and ate up all the food the rat had offered. The field rat really liked Thumbelina.
If you tell me a story every day, I will allow you to stay with me to the end of winter.
With great satisfaction, Thumbelina accepted her offer.
Today my neighbor will come by. He's in better condition than me. If you go with him, you'll be very comfortable. But keep in mind, he has very bad eyesight. You will need to tell your best fairy tales and occupy him forever.
A little while later, with his velvet fur on his back, appeared a mole. Thumbelina wasn't very fond with the mole, but she didn't want to disappoint him, so she agreed to sing a song for him. Fly, fly, ladybug, wedding will be tomorrow. Mommy will buy you new shoes and clothes tomorrow. Even though he had poor eyesight, the mole realized he liked Thumbelina very much and decided to take her home.
I managed to come all this way by digging a hole and making a tunnel. If you like, we can go the same way and I can show you my house.
Thumbelina was hesitant to go. Seeing the rat agreeing, Thumbelina accepted his offer. They managed to make their way. During this time, they saw a swallow lying down on the ground with its wings on its side and its head and feet tucked under its feathers.
This bird wasn't here when I was coming. It must have just fallen through the hole.
Thumbelina thought about the birds in the forest and remembered them chirping above her. She couldn't handle the sight of them being in this state and was very sad. Without the field rat or the mole seeing, she turned to the swallow and gave it a kiss. This bird could be one of the birds that was chirping during summertime. If that's so, then I owe him a lot.
Come on, Thumbelina, we are waiting for you.
She couldn't sleep that night. She knitted a quilt with the straw, went to the corridor and covered the swallow. She wet the mint leaf she used as a blanket and placed it over its head. Please be better soon, sweet little bird. The following day, Thumbelina went over to see the swallow and saw that its eyes were open. I don't know how to thank you. You took such good care of me. Now I will recover in no time. Once I have totally recovered, I will be able to go next to my friends in warmer countries. It's very cold outside. You should rest in your warm bed and recover at once. After Thumbelina was done giving advice to the swallow, she brought some water with the help of a flower petal and helped her drink it. And later on, listen to how she broke her wings, smashing into the bushes. The wounded swallow wasn't as fast as her friends. She was tired, and so she fell. At last, spring had sprung, and the sun began to warm the land once again. The swallow knew that it was time to say goodbye to Thumbelina. Would you like to come to the forest with me? I would have liked to come with you, but my friend the field rat would be very sad. I can't leave her. In that case, farewell, Thumbelina. Maybe someday we will meet again. With teary eyes, Thumbelina watched the swallow fly away. With summer ahead, Thumbelina's worries began to arise.
It is summer now. Now that the velvet-furred mole would like to marry you, we should get some beautiful clothes together.
When winter is here, be ready to live with me underground in the soil, Thumbelina.
Before Thumbelina began her life underground where it was cold and dark, she went outside for the last time to see the sun. Just as she was about to enter, right above her head, she heard a bird. When she turned her head up to have a look, she saw her most loved swallow. Thumbelina told the swallow that she was being forced to marry the mole and that she had to live underground where there was no sunlight. Winter is nearly here. We are preparing to go to warmer countries. Please come with us. You've saved my life. I would like to pay you back. This time, Thumbelina accepted the swallow's offer. And off they went. Thumbelina and the swallow flew away over the forests, seas, and the mountains covered in snow. Later, the two friends arrived at warmer countries. These places were amazing. The sun was brighter and the sky was shimmering. This is my home. Please pick the best flower for yourself.
This is beautiful.
The swallow placed Thumbelina in a beautiful flower. Amongst all this beauty, Thumbelina was very happy. Sitting in her flower and looking at it in detail, she was mesmerized. In the flower sat a tiny man as shiny as glass. This man was the fairy of this flower. Every flower had its own fairy. He was as tall as a finger. He had shiny wings on his shoulders and a golden crown on his head. It was the first time the handsome fairy had seen a beautiful girl the same size as he was.
What's your name, beautiful girl?
My name is Thumbelina.
The fairy took his crown off his head and placed it on Thumbelina's head.
If you marry me, you will be the queen amongst all these flowers. You will live a very happy life.
After having lived such cruelty, being in such beautiful environment, Thumbelina was very happy to hear such a great proposal from the very handsome fairy. The fairy held Thumbelina's hand, and right at that moment, 2 wings appeared on Thumbelina's shoulders. Thumbelina was now the fairy queen. Together they lived a long and happy life.